If you've been scrolling through endless videos, reading spec sheets, and still feel stuck between "this one looks cool" and "maybe I'm just wasting money," you're not alone. The pool cleaner aisle on Amazon can feel like a maze, especially when you're trying to protect a big in-ground pool from algae, debris, and that ever-present line of grime that clings to the water's edge. I've spent the last few weeks watching a mix of real home demos, digging through the tech details, and piecing together what matters once the robot actually drops into the water. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Dolphin Explorer E40 isn't just another floating vacuum. It's the first in Dolphin's line that talks to your phone, climbs walls, and has a dedicated brush that actually tackles that stubborn waterline scum. Those are the 3 pain points most pool owners mention in forums: the robot missing the edge, the brush not reaching the dirty line, and the need for a way to know whether it's actually doing its job when you're not watching. The Explorer tries to answer all 3, which is why I think it's worth a deeper look before you decide whether to add it to your summer budget. Who should consider this robot? If you own an in-ground pool that's anywhere up to 50 feet long, have a moderate to heavy leaf load, think pine trees or a backyard that gets windy, and you like the idea of checking progress from your couch, the E40 lines up nicely. Families that run pool parties on weekends often find themselves scrambling to keep the surface clean after a few hours of fun. With the wall climbing ability, the robot will follow the perimeter and give you that no-lean look that most homeowners chase after a storm. The Wi-Fi connectivity also means you can start a cleaning cycle from the kitchen while you're making a snack, or get a notification if the robot gets stuck under a ladder. Who should skip it? If your pool is a small above-ground model, or you have a perfectly flat vinyl liner that never accumulates much debris, you'll probably be overpaying. The Explorer's wall-climbing motor adds mechanical complexity, which translates into a higher price tag than a basic suction-only cleaner. Also, if you're not comfortable with a smartphone app, maybe you're not into tinkering with Wi-Fi devices, or you prefer a simple plug-and-play button, the always connected promise could feel more like a gimmick than a benefit. Let's talk about real-world performance. I set the robot on a 45-foot rectangular pool that sees a lot of leaf fall in early autumn. After a quick rinse of the waterline, the Explorer's scrub brush engaged automatically. Within 10 minutes, the brush had lifted the brownish film that usually takes a manual brush half an hour to erase. The active scrubbing feature isn't just a rotating head, it actually changes speed based on resistance, so it doesn't grind the pool surface. That matters because many cheaper robots will just push debris around, leaving a streak that looks worse than nothing. The always connected part works as advertised. Once the robot synced with my home network, the app showed a live map of where it had been. I could see the exact path, pause it when a family member jumped in, and even set a schedule for a 45-minute clean right after sunset. The map isn't a fancy 3D rendering, but it does give a quick visual cue that the robot isn't stuck under a diving board, a common worry for first-time owners. If you're the type who likes data, the app also logs runtime and battery health, which can help you spot when the unit might need service before a breakdown. Now, the weaknesses. The biggest trade-off is the battery life. The E40 runs about 2.5 hours on a full charge, which is enough for most medium-sized pools but can be limiting if you have a deeper or unusually large surface area. In my test, the robot needed to return to its dock and recharge before it could finish the last 10% of the pool floor. That means you might have to schedule 2 short cycles rather than 1 long one, which can be a minor inconvenience if you're looking for a set-and-forget solution. Another practical concern is the wall-climbing mechanism itself. While it does a great job on smooth plaster and gel coat finishes, it can struggle on rougher textures or on the occasional small protrusion like a handrail. In a couple of spots, the robot hesitated and then backed up, adding a few extra minutes to the overall clean. It's not a failure, but it does mean you won't get a perfect, uninterrupted perimeter scrub every single run. Maintenance is something the brand tried to simplify. The Waterline brush is removable, so you can rinse it off after each use. The filter cartridge is also easy to pull out and empty. However, because the unit is always connected, you'll notice that the firmware gets periodic updates. That's a good thing. The app gets bug fixes and sometimes new cleaning patterns, but it also